A very good morning, children. So this video is on chapter 2, Life of Man for the students, class 6 history. Okay. Now today the topic that I am going to discuss is invention of the wheel. Okay. Now whenever we are talking about wheel, the invention of the wheel, basically who invented the wheel? It is the Neolithic man. Okay, in the Neolithic period. Okay. So because of the Neolithic man's intelligence, okay, he was able to invent the wheel. Remember that. Okay. Wheel means chakka, no? Are you understand? Or round trunk. Okay, so how he invented the wheel? Okay, so let's look at the tree. Now in the olden times, okay, people used to cut the tree. Okay, in the olden times, people used to cut the tree. So when they cut the tree has a round trunk. This is called the trunk. No, this is called the trunk. Isn't that so? So a round trunk of a tree might have felled. Okay, which gave it the idea of wheel. Okay, I understand. When he cut down the tree log is okay round in shape. It might have fallen down from a height or from a hill. Okay, so when he cut the round trunk of the wood, okay, it might have rolled down the hill, etc. So this occurred to him the idea of wheel. Okay, now I want to tell you, if wheel was not invented in the olden times, do you think you will be traveling by bus and cars? Scooters, etc. You'll be using scooters, etc., or bikes, etc., or bicycles, etc. No, it was invented in the olden times. Therefore, we are using that facility in the present time. So, our past is always linked with the present. That is known as history. No, are you understand? So, the invention of the wheel changed the life of early man forever because of that invention, we are able to use the wheeled cars. No, today we are driving cars, etc. It is possible because of the wheel. And in olden times, these people use bullock carts. These people use bullock carts. Are you understanding? So, bullock carts was invented when? When they invented the wheel. Are you understanding? The wheel cart made traveling simpler or easy and comfortable. Today you find comfortable. You don't have to walk from one place to another. You use a car. Okay, are you understanding? So it appears that the wheel was first used for making pottery, but before that bullock cart, we have to know that wheel was also used for other purposes. Okay, it was used as a cart. Okay, C-A-R-T cart, that is bullock cart. Okay, bullock cart. Wheel was used as a bullock cart. Another thing is it was used for making pottery. Now, whenever we are talking about pottery, the pottery is made by hand. Isn't that so? What is a pot? Matke ka bhara. Are you understanding? Or a gamla. Have you seen a gamla? Where you put a flower, etc. It is made of mud. But the round side of the pot is made by what? It is made by the hand. On what? How they make the round circular shape? It is because of the help of the wheel. This wheel basically has spokes here. Okay, they have spokes here. Okay, and in the middle of the wheel there is a place where you can keep a mud here. Okay. By putting a hand, you can shape the mud into a pot. This is known as a potter's wheel. This is known as a potter's wheel. And how they are able to make utensils? Utensils means bhara burden. For cooking food, we use plate, etc. We use dishes, etc. Okay, and for serving food also we use dishes, etc. How is this made? In the olden times they did not have plastic made what we call thal, etc. or a steel thal, etc. In the olden times, they had only mud. They knew only about mud, and they used to make mud bharas, mud utensils, and it is made from the potter's wheel. It is made from the potter's wheels. So you can see it is known as the P-O-T-T-E-R apostrophe S, potter's wheel. And what is called a potter's wheel? This is called a potter's wheel where pots are made. Are you understanding? So it appears that the wheel was first used for making pots, then as a bullock cart. The wheel was also used in spinning and weaving cotton and woolen clothes. Last time only I told you that today also we wear cotton clothes during summer season and winter clothes during woolen clothes during winter season. Woolen clothes during winter season because woolen clothes keep us warm. And where these clothes are made? Today it is made in the industries. But in the olden times, they used to basically spin a yarn, make a dhaga. Have you seen a Gandhiji photo with a spinning wheel? Okay, Gandhiji has a wheel. Like this kind of wheel is there. In the wheel, it has a dhaga there. Okay, understand? A dhaga is used. So this wheel is used for making dhaga. Dhaga means a string or a thread. From the thread, a cloth is made. From a thread, a cloth is made. Okay, at home also your grandmothers might be knitting sweaters, etc. So when she is knitting sweaters, etc., or weaving sweaters, etc., she is weaving sweaters because of the dhaga. Isn't that so? She is using dhaga for making cloths. So woolen and cotton dhaga was used for making woolen and cotton clothes in the olden times. And with the help of what? With the help of wheel. Okay? So three things we learned. Bullock carts use wheel, potters use wheel, and also for making pots we use wheel in the olden times. Okay? Now we are moving on to invention of pottery. Now pottery means pots. Pots means bhara. Okay, I understand. So we are looking at the invention of pots. Not wheel, now pots. It is known as invention of pots. Okay. Now we are looking at the invention of pots. Okay. Now, invention of pottery also we can say. Pottery. Pottery also we can say. When man became a food producer. At first we learned that in the Paleolithic age, man was hunter and gatherer. In the Paleolithic age we learned, okay, when we started this chapter, we learned in the Paleolithic age, man was hunter. What was the occupation? The occupation was hunting and gathering food. Okay? The occupation was hunting and gathering food. But when from the Paleolithic age they came to the Mesolithic age, okay, basically, when they came to the Mesolithic age, they discovered agriculture, growing of crops. Isn't that so? So they learned how to grow crops. And in the Neolithic age, we come to know that, okay, they are much more advanced in growing crops as well as domestication of animals. They grew crops also, they domesticated animals also. Okay, now when they grew crops, there is no need for hunting or gathering. Why? Because by growing crops, he gets all the food grains. Food grains means anna. Anna means food. Okay? Food like rice, wheat, barley were the first crops to be grown. You understand? It was the staple diet. Staple diet means, okay, like at home also you have rice. Roti also you will have. Sometimes every day you will have roti. That is the staple diet. That is called the staple diet. Okay? Are you understanding? So whenever we are talking about growing crops, they grew crops to, okay, have food. Isn't that so? If they wanted meat, if they wanted milk, etc., or milk products, etc., then they domesticated animals. They kept animals. For what? If you keep animals like cows, etc., at your home, why you keep cows? For milk. Isn't that so? If you keep boiler chickens in your farm, etc., why you keep boiler chickens? For what? It gives you what? Meat. Are you understanding? So, milk and milk products as well as meat as well as skin of animals, were derived or formed from domestication of animals. So they did not have to depend on hunting and gathering food in the Neolithic age. So they became food producers. Here they were food gatherers. But here they became food producers because they can produce food, they can create food. Okay, how they produce food? By agriculture, by growing crops. Okay, so by growing crops, okay, and domestication of animals. If they wanted to eat meat, then they have kept the animals. If they wanted milk, they have kept the animals. If they wanted rice, etc., they are growing rice, etc., in the fields. So domestication of animals. So this is known as food producers. Remember that. Okay. So when man became a food producer in the Neolithic age, he felt the need for vessels. He needed bhara to store extra food. Today also you go home, you find your mothers have kept rice in a container. Okay, even the masalas in a container. Even she has kept fishes, meat, etc., or milk inside the refrigerator. Okay, we need what? Bhara bartan, that is called utensils. You understand? They are also called vessels. They are also called what? Vessels. Okay. So when man became a food producer, he felt the need for vessels. He wanted to make vessels in order to store extra food, extra crops. You understand? Or container for storing surplus or excess food, or grains or milk products. So that he can keep that food for the future. Isn't that so? So he began to make mud pots. So this was the invention of pots. This was the invention of pots. So he started making mud. M-U-D, mud pots or utensils or bhara bartan we call it. It is made of mud. It is made of soil. It is made of S-O-I-L, soil. It is also called clay. Clay is a moist mud, wet mud. Okay, I understand. So he began to make mud pots or clay pots and dried them in the sun. So these mud pots were made with the help of water. By mixing mud with water, he started making bhara bartan. But he was supposed to dry that mud in the sun. When you dry that mud in the sun, it can store only solid objects like rice, wheat, then what we call barley, etc., and even salt, etc., even sugar, etc. Only the solid objects can be stored in that mud kabara, or mud pots which was dried in the sun. If it was dried in the sun, then it would store only solid objects. Solid objects. Like rice, wheat, etc. But soon he found out that these pots, when baked in fire, when burnt in fire, if these muds were burnt in fire or baked in fire, B-A-K-E-D, baked means burnt in fire, it can store liquid. It can store liquid. Now, whenever we are talking about liquid, we are talking about water. Water can be stored in a mud pot. Understand? So, the pots which was basically burned in fire can store liquids. Can store liquids. Remember that. If the pot is burnt, dried in sun, it can store solid. If the pot is basically burnt in fire, it can store liquid like water. At home also you keep water or not? Yeah? Water is kept in a container, no? In a jerkin, etc. We use jerkin, etc. No, today? But in the olden days, they had only pots made of mud. And to make it stronger, so that it can hold liquid like milk, etc., or water, etc., it has to be burned in fire. I understand? Pots which are baked in the fire are harder pots. They are hard pots. Okay, so these pots which are baked are basically harder pots, which can basically store or keep liquids. I understand? They were also called waterproof pots. They were also called what? Waterproof pots. I understand? So the pots which was baked in fire was called waterproof. Waterproof pots. But these were not called waterproof pots because they can store only rice, barley, wheat, etc. Do you know what is rice? Cham. Wheat, do you know? Anta, etc. Okay, do you know what is pulses, legumes, etc.? Dal, etc. Are you understand? Now, later, when the wheel was invented, man used potter's wheel to make better pots. So, because of the invention of the wheel, he was able to make better pots of different shape and sizes. The pots basically range from the smallest pot to the biggest pot. Are you understand? So they have different shape and sizes of the pots. Okay, and they can make it at a fastest speed also. They can make many pots because of the help of the potter's wheel. Because of the invention of the wheel, it helped potters to make many pots. Okay, and these pots became a specialized craft. What is a craft? Do you know what is a craft? In small classes, you do craft work, no? Craft means what? Making things with your hands. You use hands to make things. That is known as craft. Okay, and this became a specialized craft because they were making utensils, a bhara bartan. Are you understand? So these pots were often decorated with designs, pictures, etc. And these designs were basically geometrical designs. Do you know what is geometry? Geometry means the science of shapes. Now in a geometry you find circle also, you find triangle also. Okay, now this kind of design was put in a pot. Now I am drawing a pot here, okay, so that you can understand what pot I am talking about. Now I will make a mattiga vara, okay. Okay, I make a mattiga vara, okay. Then I'll put a design here, like geometrical designs, okay. Like geometrical designs I'll put here. Now you can say this is a design. Isn't that so? This kind of decoration was found in the pots. These decorations are called geometrical designs. Geometrical, geometrical designs. Okay? Geometrical designs were used. Number one, number two. Okay, another design was also used. Okay, flower designs were used. Flower designs were also used. So they are known as floral designs. These are known as floral designs. Now, if I make a flower here, look here. Okay. Now, if I make a flower here, now in the glass also, when you are having water also, you get it has flower designs. No, that is known as floral designs. Now, if I make a pattaya, okay, now leaf here, okay. Now this becomes a floral design. Are you understanding? This becomes a floral design. Are you understanding? Now, if I make a flower here, like this kind of flower here, it becomes a floral design. This kind of design was also used in the pots. Today also you find many dishes have got these designs. Today also. Isn't that so? And also leaves you find in the pots. Today we use ceramic pots, for having tea, etc. There also you find designs. And we have learned this design from home, from the Neolithic people. Because they started using this design and we copied it. Isn't that so? Now we are moving on to social life of Neolithic man. Now we are moving to another heading that is known as social life of Neolithic man. Turn the page. Now we are moving on to it's in the same page. 14 is number 14. Social life of Neolithic man. Now, fire was discovered. With the discovery of fire, with the discovery of wheel, they discovered fire, okay? They discovered wheel, they discovered agriculture, okay? They discovered how to tame animals, okay? Tame animals. As well as, they discovered how to make stone tools. Okay? For cutting the grass, cutting the trees, etc., cutting the animals, etc. They use tools and weapons. Okay? So these things were discovered by these people from the Paleolithic age to the Neolithic age. Okay? With the discovery of fire, wheel, agriculture, and tools made of stone, man began to live a settled life. Now, what is a settled life? Settled life means to live in a hut. They started living in a hut. Do you know what is a hut? Actually, hut. They started living in a hut. Okay, this is known as a settled life because they started living in a house. Are you understanding? Though it was temporary house, but they started living in a hut or a house made of mud. It was not made of cement or rods, etc. It was made of mud. So this hut was made of mud. Okay, and it has mud walls. Now, what is a wall? The room also has a wall. This is called a wall. No, this is called a wall. This wall was made of mud. But what was the roof made of? It was made of thatched roof. Okay, because the roof was made of thatched. Okay, T-H-A-T-C-H-E-D. Thatched roof. Now, thatched roof means straw. S-T-R-A-W. Straw. Straw means what? We call, okay, straw in Nepali it is called para. Okay, okay, are you understanding? In Nepali it is called para, but in Hindi I don't know. Okay, so it is called straw roof. Okay, straw roof. Okay, I understand. So they started living in a house which was made of mud. Okay, they had mud walls and thatch roofs. Okay, it is made of straw. It is made of water reeds. Okay, or okay, in order to cover the roof. I understand. This settled life led to the development of organized social life. So when they were living in that hut with that mud house, okay, they started living a settled life. Man started living together now after they lived in the house. In groups, they started living in the same place. In the same place, all the people gathered and lived together. They also made, the other people also made mud houses or huts, etc. And they started living nearby, near the river, etc. or lake, etc. Okay? Which is known as community because they started living together with each other. Okay? And this group of people living together made a community. And this community turned into villages. This community turned into villages because groups of people were living together in the same place means they were living in villages. As these families set up their straw huts close to each other near a river or lake, such a cluster of such huts became small villages or a settlement surrounded by mud wall. Now, if you go to Basti areas also, if you go to village areas, you find they have a wall outside the house. It is made of what? It is made of what? It is made of Hedges. Hedges. Now what is hedge? Okay, what is a hedge? Hedge means a fence or a boundary formed by closely growing, okay, plants, bushes or shrubs. They do not have cement walls. They have plant walls in the village. Have you seen? Have you seen plant walls in the village? Like hedges, etc. So it is made of bushes or shrubs to defend its home from wild animals. Are you understand? So what is a hedge? Hedge means a fence. Now today we have fence. It is made of walls. It is made of cement. It is made of cement. If you go outside also Rockman Academy also has a fence. It is made of cement. But in the olden times, okay, people used to make fence with okay bushes and shrubs or trees, etc. Are you understand? To protect their house from the wild animals or family from the wild animals. This was for today. Okay. Hope you find this lesson useful. Thank you for listening.